Okay, so everybody, I'd like you to welcome Heather Hallis. You're in Canada, I think. Is
I
that
am Toronto. Yeah.
yeah?
Everybody is.
And I met Heather through Dr. Zarin with one of Dr. Zarin's summer um, uh, uh, conference, homeopathic conference, and she's got some really interesting um, uh, uh, compounds that she's been using, and I thought the group would find them quite fascinating. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and I'm going to let her take over from there. So whenever you're ready, Heather, do you have a slideshow? You hit
I
share.
do.
Okay, so you hit
Sure.
share. You know what to do, right? You've done this before,
hmm
right? Only us.
I'll start it.
Only us medical doctors. Your voice is a little muffled. I don't know if you can do anything about that, at least on my end. So is
Okay, I'll try to be louder. Is that working better?
a little bit. Is that okay? And everybody can hear?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Um,
we can hear you. It's a little bit muffled, but it's okay.
yeah, it's a little bit muffled, so you can turn the
Okay, I'll
volume
try to be
up.
louder, and I need to go back. This is the last slide. My daughter's going to help me with all this because she's amazing. And here we go. Okay, thank you. So, hello to all of you at the American Osteopathic Society of Integrated Medicine. First, I want to thank Dr. William Clearfield for the opportunity to speak today about the hormone balancing drops and their use for boosting mood, energy, metabolism, and releasing weight. My name is Heather Hallis, and you may have noticed that I'm not a doctor. I was encouraged by my teachers to become a doctor, though. I had the marks, the work ethic, and the handwriting for it. But coming out of high school, I realized that I didn't really like the sight of blood at all. And even though I had a 96 in physics, I decided to drop that class so I could sleep in. And I probably already had some kind of a hormonal dysfunction then, since I was on so many antibiotics for my skin. I had cystic acne since I wreaked havoc on my metabolism when I was 13 by having anorexia nervosa and starving myself. Anyway, we can fast forward as I became a high school teacher and enjoyed that career for 30 years until last year when I retired in June. I'm also an actress and a jewelry designer, as you may have seen from the clips that Dr. Clearfield posted. So the story is back in 2009, my best friend Joanne got me to join a skincare company called Nucerity to use the dermatologist recommended skin mask called Skincerity to help me get rid of all those cystic acne scars. And it worked. Yay. I could leave the house without makeup. So that was a success. In 2018, this company with the skincare merged with the health company. And that excited me quite a lot because I had also developed a mysterious condition called fibromyalgia in my teenage years, and I was in constant pain. I don't know if it was related to the anorexia or not, but I know that I was hoping, very secretly and even openly hoping, that this company, the new company that was joined in with its high standards and 80 plus products, many of which were formulated by doctors, would help me and others feel good at a cellular level. And this actually proved to be true. So another success. Now, this company is now merged again and called Partner Company, and it has about 100 products, and they're available all over the world. So some of my favorites are MOA, and I'm going to just change the screen so you can see there's a few more here. There's MOA, which stands for Mother of All, and it has over 30 natural ingredients in it and special mushrooms as well to regenerate the gut health, aid in digestion, and rid the body of inflammation. Also, there's Renew, which kind of biohacks into your aging and makes you feel younger. It reduces the signs of aging and increases, well, it actually stimulates your HGH, or human growth hormone production. So that's a wonderful one that we use with the drops. Another one is Elite, which I just had. I just had a glass of it. It is a pink drink, which has adaptogens in it, like ashwagandha, astaxanthin, and aloe, Indian gooseberry, and they all help with mood and focus and anxiety. So that's really good before you're about to talk to a bunch of doctors. And also Restorix, which I really enjoy because it contains zeolite and chlorella and spirulina and activated charcoal. And all of those ingredients together sort of form a magnet that take out the heavy metal toxins from your body overnight. And they eliminate them, and the drink tastes pretty good. So these and many other of the products are they're awesome, really good products. I tried them all. The whole nutrition line is gold standard. The Tahitian noni lines with its iridoids, and the limu with its fucoidin, all anti-inflammatory. There's antioxidants and all products that help with blood sugar levels. The water filter, the air filter, fantastic. I use all of the products. But tonight I want to tell you mostly about my most exciting, at least currently, I find the most exciting product of all, and that is the drops. So since I wrecked my metabolism when I was 13 with my anorexia, going down to 80 pounds, and I was on so few calories when I was a teenager, I not only had issues with my skin, but many different antibiotics in my early teens to help my pizza face skin. And he even prescribed birth control pills for my skin, for my acne. And like most women, I did not realize that this would impede my body's ability to produce and synthesize vitamin B for the rest of my life. I learned this much later from Dr. Marlissa Hurt, who formulated the hormone balancing drops. And here they are. This is what they look like. So I'm going to tell you that this little powerful duo has changed my life and the lives of many people. They're clinically proven and doctor recommended drops that are basically, they're not magic, but they help you do what you need to do and you know you need to do to lose weight. They help you exercise and they help you control what you eat. They're not just going to burn it off in a vacuum. You do need to do the program, but they're amazing because they're like a crutch that really does help you do what you need to do. So here's a person who's lost more than her body weight already. Like what she weighs now is less than the weight that she's lost. This is Dr. Crystal Vance, who actually she had a very thriving practice and she's decided to do this full time now to sell the drops. She retired and look how young she is. And she's decided to do the drops full time and help other people all over the world do the same. So this is her success story. You can see that she has lost more than half her body weight. And she's also introducing Dr. Ray Strand in the video, from which I will soon show you some clips. So this video is over an hour long. I won't show you the whole thing, although I will in the chat later put the link so that you can watch it all yourself. You'll find it quite fascinating. I am tempted to just, press play and let you watch it for an hour, but I guess that's not really me presenting then, is it? But anyway, it's an excellent presentation and she is at the beginning of it. So I'll let you see that soon. And I must say there are many doctors that have been involved in making these drops. So they've been formulated by homeopathic doctors, and one of them is on here right now. My favorite friend Parvin Zarin. Dr. Zarin is here. She isn't one that formulated, but she's a homeopathic doctor who recognized the value in these drops and wanted me to talk to everyone at her academy because she saw that the ingredients in them are so beneficial. So we will go over the ingredients soon enough. But I just want to say that by absorbing the many, many lectures of Dr. Ray Strand, I've seen him speak, I've listened to him on YouTube, and I've read many of his books. He's written, I think, 7 at this point. Here's one of them that I just got. This is Death by Prescription. This is an excellent book. I got that in Florida when I met him in person. just at the beginning of the year. Also, he's also written many other books, and I can't seem to keep my hands on them. I lend them out to my friends and I don't get them back. So friends, if you're on here, please give me back my books. One of them is called What Your Doctor Does Not Know About Nutritional Medicine May Be Killing You. Another one is called Healthy for Life. Anyway, he's written at least 7 books, and he's very knowledgeable about hormones and about weight loss and many other things as well. So what I learned, what I've gathered from talking to him and listening to him and Crystal Vance, Dr. Crystal Vance, and also Dr. Marlissa Hurt and a few other doctors, I realized that I've been fighting, as many people have, insulin resistance for much of my adult life, probably before I even had my daughter, who's now 23. Many men and women are in this category. Maybe not the pregnancy category, but fighting the insulin resistance. And you may be right now in stage 1, 2, 3, or 4 of this condition. Now, after stage 4, it's the official onset of diabetes 2, type 2. And it's a shame that more people aren't aware of the dangers of spiking their blood sugar after time on their metabolism. I'm going to show you part of Dr. Strand's explanation of how hormones affect our weight. It will be a few minutes, I think, well spent, and a good review for most of you. And I'm not going to interrupt him, but much of what he says here is used as the basis of the meal plan that you'll see later and the other explanations we have afterwards. So I'm going to attempt to find that on the screen. I think we'll be okay. Oh, that's Dr. Crystal Vance over here, and that's Dr. Ray Strand, and that's me, tired after jet lag. Okay, so here we are, and this is, okay, sorry. This is Dr. Marlissa Hurt. She helped develop the drops, so I have her here in the background or in the right beside everything else that's going on. This is Dr. Crystal Vance. She can rock those red glasses, and I'm going to now take you to a part in the video that I think will be, well, they're all interesting. I kind of wanted to start at the beginning, like I said, but we'll start here at 17:30, and we're going to be going for around 10 minutes. So just listen to Dr. Strand, and then we'll take it up afterwards. Okay? Hope you can hear it.
On insulin, but as blood insulin levels rise after years of abuse of insulin, you literally tip over into this abnormal metabolic state. Your blood pressure begins to rise. The triglyceride just in the blood starts to shoot up. That good HDL cholesterol starts to drop down. The bad VLDL cholesterol increases. Now, we call this technically dyslipidemia. Your cholesterol might be normal, but it starts to go up. But then your blood sugars begin to rise. And then you begin to gain this unusual amount of weight around your middle. Hormones become out of balance and dysfunctional. Insulin, glucagon, adrenaline, cortisol, growth hormone, estrogen, progesterone, and even thyroid hormone. So that's where we are. But I want to explain. People always want me to explain, well, why am I gaining all this weight around my middle? Well, we have a mantra in the weight loss industry that's been going on for 75 years. A calorie, you have to have less calories in than the calories you put out, and then you can lose weight. But when you tip over into this abnormal metabolic state, a calorie is no longer a calorie. And I'll tell you why. The muscle becomes insulin resistant first. In other words, it can't take up all the calories it used to because it's resistant to the insulin. It can't get it in. So many of the calories that used to be utilized as energy are now being diverted to the fat cells of the abdomen. And remember, insulin's job is to convert that sugar into fat and then block the release of that fat. So you start gaining this unusual amount of weight around your middle. You begin to hold on to fat like a sponge holds on to wine. And the main thing is your resistance to weight loss. Now, what you have to understand, and I want to share this, is you don't just wake up one morning and suddenly have diabetes. This is something that takes almost decades to develop. Insulin resistance, becoming less sensitive to your own insulin, is the result of a poor diet and inactivity, as I shared. But it takes 10 to 15 years of these poor lifestyles before you even develop insulin resistance or prediabetes. And so when I started to look at this, I really had the opportunity in the 90s, since I had been doing annual physicals on the police department, the sheriff's department, and the fire department for around 25 years. So I've seen them every year. I measured them. I did lab work. I did physical exams, and I had those records. So when I started to see someone who had been developing prediabetes or diabetes, I could really go back and look at their lab work and their measurements for 10, 15, 20 years before. And I was able to determine what I could see in the early signs or the early stages of insulin resistance. And I found out that's very important because the sooner we start trying to correct this, the better success we have. So I determined, I've written this in my books, there are 4 distinct stages or levels of insulin resistance, and this is what I determined. Stage 1 of insulin resistance, what are the signs? Well, you get fatigue. You have carbohydrate cravings or this uncontrollable hunger. There seems to be a main pattern of nighttime eating. You get really hungry at night. Then there's this expanding waist size. And then you try to lose weight and you can't lose it. And it's so frustrating. Or if you lose some weight, you gain it right back. Your blood pressure begins to go up. I start to see my patients' blood pressure go over 120, over 80. It starts to get up above that. You know, we like to see the blood sugars at least in their 80s, but you know, when you start to do this, you see it in the high 80s creeping into the 90s. That's signs of stage 1 of insulin resistance. Now, stage 2, we start to see the HDL cholesterol dropping down, and sometimes this is the only thing we see. It's isolated. But if you look at a lipid profile, if you have one, and you're not on a statin drugs obviously will throw this off, and I'm going to share what this all means. But women, we don't like to see their HDL cholesterol dip below 50 milligrams per deciliter, we call it. And men, we don't like to see it go below 40. Now, there's also your triglycerides, that other fat in the blood starts to go up. I do a ratio, and I'll explain this here, of dividing triglycerides by the HDL cholesterol. And when it gets about 2, I know they're in at least stage 2 of insulin resistance. And I see the fasting blood sugars getting greater than 100. Blood pressure is even going higher. It just keeps creeping up, 130 over 85. And then I see further expanding of the waist size. Women, waist size gets to 32 to 34 inches. Men, their waist size gets from 36 to 39. Now, in men, I measure their waist 1 inch below their belly button and over what we call the iliac crest. That's where I measure men. Women, I have found in my medical practice and the literature supports it, you want to measure your waist at the smallest area you can find. That's where you measure your waist. Women are just built a little differently, and that helps me. But when you start to see this, you're in stage 2 of insulin resistance. Now, the medical literature primarily focuses when you have full-blown insulin resistance. And so what we find is that a patient that has 3 or more of the following criteria will be diagnosed by their physician with prediabetes. Now, there's some people say you only need 2. So you would only need 2 or 3 of these 5. A high blood pressure that's greater than 140 over 90. Central obesity, waist size in women, as I shared, over 35.5 inches, and men over 40 inches. Or maybe an elevated triglyceride greater than 150, or a low HDL cholesterol again in women, less than 50, men less than 40, or a fasting blood sugar that keeps creeping up over 120. Now, if you have 2 or 3 of these, then you would be in stage 3 of insulin resistance, or you would have full-blown insulin resistance. And stage 4 Insulin resistance is really the progression to diabetes mellitus itself. So when a patient develops stage 4 of insulin, they have become diabetic. They fulfilled all the criteria of stage 3. Now their fasting blood sugars are greater than 125. And if they do a hemoglobin A1C, which is the measurement of the amount of sugar in a red blood cell, and it's a much better tool to find because the fasting blood sugar is just a spot check. When you do
Heather, we got no sound now at all.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either. I think we lost him.
Did we lose them? Okay. Is everybody having trouble hearing it?
I can hear you.
I know, but I'm not. I'm not the one.
That's all I can hear.
The video's audio quality is pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay.
Agreed.
Ah.
We
Can't understand anything.
Okay.
It's tough. It's tough.
Heather,
Hi.
Ah.
Can you hear me at all?
Heather.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't hear anything.
yeah.
Okay, so for how long? Because I wasn't looking at the chat while this was going on, so I don't know how long you haven't been able to hear anything.
It was just a minute, just a minute or two.
Not even.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
because true. So a minute or two, that's fine. Then I think that we can just move on because I can explain it. I've seen it 5,000 times. So basically with Dr. Strand, he's talking to us about the the fact that many of us are in stage 1, 2, 3, or 4 of insulin resistance. And what will come to be more important later is being able to recognize where you are in that. So I'm not sure if you can see it, but maybe not hear it, but I'm going to show you the ratio that you can use to find out when you get your blood taken. You probably know this as doctors, but when you get your blood taken, what the ratio would be that could correlate to which stage you may be in of insulin resistance. And this is important because when you do go on the drops, people that are in stage 1 of insulin resistance show immediate results. They're the people that have lost 10 pounds in a week, and they're just glorified and they're going all over social media about it. Then there's going to be stage 2 where it takes a little bit longer, perhaps, to get the results. But if you stick it out, like stage 3 and 4, even longer, but if you stick it out and you do the low glycemic index diet, the one that doesn't spike your blood sugar for an extended period of time, some people it's 5 days, sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's even 3 weeks if you're really, really high up there right before diabetes, then you're going to see a major change in your ability to lose weight. So that's the basic gist of it. I will show you the screen if I can do so again, and you'll just see the ratio if you can't hear it, and then I'll just move ahead because I don't know, you don't really have to listen to too much else beyond what you've heard, but I will give you the synopsis of it, and I'll try to share my screen again. Not that I'm figuring out what's going on there. Okay, hang on. Okay, so you can see, can you hear me now? Can everyone hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, good. All right, so this is the ratio, and that's fine. So it's just a triglyceride over HDL. So if you have a 2 or more in your ratio, you're at stage 2. And then I believe, I wrote this down. So stage 3 is when you have a 3 or more, and stage 4 is the next one. So your ratio is important as to where you are in the pre-diabetes scale. Okay, so we'll just move on. This is the link. You can take it and you can write this down, and you can go ahead and watch the whole hour later because it is actually very fascinating. There are some amazing charts. There's a lot that you'll enjoy in this. Okay, so there's the link, and I can copy paste it later for you as well.
If you send it to me, I'll put it in the chat and
Put it in the chat. Yeah, I'll send it later after my talk. I could probably copy paste it and stick it in the chat or something. Okay, so I just want you to know I've tried every diet and exercise program out there, including the diet program where you inject yourself with HGH and restrict your calories to 500 a day. So you're basically, you know, using needles and a lot of restraint on food. This could have been very dangerous. I found out later because of the air bubbles and the needles possibly. I don't know what I was doing, but I was desperate. So by the way, that did not work. I've done all sorts of exercising. I used to exercise like even 6 hours a day, but now with the fibromyalgia, if I had the energy, I would exercise only to be sore and sad that I was some sort of genetic loser bound to be overweight and in pain the rest of my life. But as Dr. Marlissa Hurt says, we are not genetic winners and losers, but we should be Slenderix and Accelerate Drops choosers. So she's a little bit of a Dr. Seuss too. But she was instrumental in formulating these drops, and she claims there are no downsides to these drops if they're taken properly. She recommends people take them for at least 8 weeks to try them for a long-term effect. You may lose weight in 1 week, but you probably want to be on them 8 weeks so everything kind of evens out, because your hormones need to be balanced in order to make this work. When I was in Florida, I saw people at the convention who lost anywhere from 10 to 200 pounds on the drops over a sustained period of time. And unlike many things we're told about, these drops really are safe and effective. So this dynamic duo of drops uses homeopathic methods to support the thyroid. And it lifts your energy and mood, decreases your appetite for bad foods, and resets your brain's hormonal reaction to food. So we start to crave foods that are good for us and stop craving all of the carbohydrates. Dr. Strand goes into depth in the video about why we crave carbohydrates, and it has to do with our insulin levels, and it's an inevitable effect of eating a high glycemic meal. So if we can stop eating the high glycemic meals and just eat low glycemic meals, we still have a little bit of a movement in our insulin, but it doesn't crash and start the stress hormones, which flood our bodies and make us want to eat carbs. So that will explain a whole bunch of my friends. We've been talking about this quite a bit. It's the cortisol levels, and we are lessening our glycogen levels, which then makes us fatter. Basically, it makes us fatter and in a place we don't want it, right in our stomach. Okay, so this is why people are wanting to do a cortisol detox. So start to crave foods that are good for us rather than the chemical-laden processed foods that contain glutamates and MSG. For instance, Doritos alone contain 11 flavor enhancers that are actually hormone disruptors. These endocrine disruptors add to the toxic load that is also found in our atmosphere, like water, or fluoride hormones, chlorine, etc. Even receipts, like paper receipts we get at the grocery store or wherever we buy things, processed foods, and cosmetics. As is explained in the book, Dying to Look Good, I don't know if you can see it here. It's a nice little purple book by Christine Hosa Farlow. 200 and some pages, all with cosmetics that are causing us to have endocrine disruptors in our lives. So also circadian rhythms can be upset, and that throws off our hypothalamus function. And these toxins that are in our systems cause us to actually grow fat. Hear that again. The toxins cause us to grow fat to protect our organs from these poisons. And our thyroid signaling is thus affected. So the idea of growing fat to protect our organs is not really something I'm excited about, but it happens. And the hormone balancing drops can help us get rid of that fat. The drops reset the way we respond to food. They're chemical free and plant-based and do a metabolic reset on the HPA, which has been so disrupted by all the things in the world. Sort of like the internal Wi-Fi has been thrown off in so many of us. It's called the hypothalamic pituitary axis, and it needs a reset and to be restored. Our hypothalamus will be balanced. So as Dr. Crystal Vance explained, we will no longer have the issue of never feeling full when we eat enough or never being hungry, which is a sign of a wonky hypothalamus. Wonky being a very medical term. All right. This is why a mere restriction of calories and addition of movement is not always enough to lose weight, and why we're always so frustrated, so many of us, because we need a reset. This is why then a calorie is a calorie is a calorie is not really quite right anymore, because although those calories may be calories, indeed, the way our body is assimilating those calories is not the same as it was when we were younger, because at a certain point, after maybe not having enough activity or eating a lot of carbs, our body just stops being able to handle it properly, and our insulin resistance goes up. We have too much insulin resistance, and the first thing to get, and you probably all know this as doctors, but the first thing to be affected by that is the muscle. So your muscle is no longer taking in the insulin and using it as energy, and then it's thrown off to fat in our stomach, basically in our stomachs, where we don't want it and where it actually is the most dangerous. So we are not just experiencing our normal calorie for calories we did as a child or as a teenager, as a young adult, where we could pretty much lose the weight as soon as we started to try. Things, as time goes on, our insulin resistance gets higher. And that is why it's harder to lose weight as you're older. And that is why we need a little help. So Dr. Marlissa Hurt proclaims that unlike many diets, and let's just see where we are in this. I'll just leave it here. Where we're left with no energy or a nutrient deficiency, these drops target abdominal and especially abdominal fat deposits. Okay, so here you go. All right. And we all know what that looks like. And the abdominal fat is the most dangerous form of fat, since it chokes out our internal organs and even en masse responds, and this is crazy, as another endocrine system in the body if left unchecked. So your fat becomes its own system and becomes treated like an organ in the body, in that it will, well, it has its own, it causes more damage, because if it's left unchecked, it will wreak havoc. Normally, without the drops, it takes about 90 days of calorie deficit of starvation before the abdominal fat is even affected. So you won't lose off your stomach for 3 months of starving. And most people can't go that long in a calorie deficit without help. These drops help by helping the brain to respond properly to the food that we're eating and changing your cravings, and enabling us to eat good foods such as those found on the approved list. Choose good foods and the system becomes even more powerful. So here's your food list. Now, you will not see dairy on here at all. You will not see grains, other than if you want to call quinoa a grain. It's really a seed, I believe. And you're not going to see sugar at all, or very sugary fruits. Although you still have an abundance of fruits, I generally suggest you just stick to berries. Condiments are pretty much normal condiments and herbs. Healthy fats, stick to the avocado and coconut oil, and stay away from all other seed oils other than flaxseed, because they, well, there's some issues with a lot of the other seed oils. The ones that are allowed are fine. And you can have liquid stevia in drop form, monk fruit. And your proteins, you want to do organic as much as you can. Generally, you want that because you don't want the hormones. The whole thing is a hormone balancing diet or a hormone balancing lifestyle. We're not really doing a diet here. And, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose to eat something that's been full of hormones. You stay away from pork because of the hormones. And same with chicken. They're pumped full of hormones so that their chicken breasts look bigger. The whole thing is you want to stay to grass-fed, free range to the best of your ability, and wild caught as well, because farmed fish is also not great. So yes, it's a little bit of work to get the right things in you, but it's definitely worth it. And it will help your hormones and avoid hormone disruption and sugar spiking in the system if you follow this diet. And if you can do it for, they say, give us 30 days. Give us 30 days. You'll have enough of a change in your body so your cravings will go away after 30 days. Remember, 2 or 3 weeks was excessive. Like that's if you're at stage 4. So if you do a month of this with no cheating, if you want to call it a cheat since it's a lifestyle, then you will stop craving all the things that are actually making you bigger, okay, and unhealthy. So if you avoid the sugar spiking, and it's not easy at first, the first 3 days are not easy at all because we're all addicted like crazy, like drug addicts. We're addicted to the drug of food. But if you can stay away for 3 days and avoid the spiking of the system, you will see results. And as Dr. Strand mentioned, the timing is different for everyone. If you're in stage 1, it's a quick fix. Really, it will not take you long. You should stay on it 8 weeks anyway, even if you have much success after the first week, because you just want it to stay. If you are in stage 2, you probably need at least 2 months, and 3 months, 4 months. It kind of goes that way. You'll want to get more months worth of drops, and 2 bottles of drops is 1 month's supply. You're going to want more depending on where you are, and you don't always know where you are. If you get your blood checked, you can find out what stage you're in with that ratio that I told you. All right. So many people have actually lost weight on the drops without following the food plan. My daughter being one of them. She lost 10 pounds. 1 week she was at her dad's. She came back a week later, 10 pounds thinner, didn't change her diet. Yeah, but she's in her 20s. So that can happen. But what you want for sustained weight loss is to change your lifestyle, to not eat Krispy Kremes for breakfast, and to make sure that you are getting 30 minutes of exercise 5 times a week. Moderate exercise, no one has to be a superhero here, but you need to do that. And we all know that. You need to do that. Now, aerobic is what is supposed to help insulin resistance the most. So aerobic exercise is, of course, what's being concentrated on with this plan. However, you also want to do weight-bearing exercise for your bones, as was, last week or week before. I believe the whole seminar was on that. And of course, you want weight-bearing exercise. So just as you already know, exercise is good for you. So you want to do that as well. And Dr. Strand also recommends nutritional supplementation if you can. There are many products in the Partner Co line that he would recommend as he's helped formulate them, and they are excellent for energy. And there's also the ability to do this plan without eating. You can do the drops on intermittent fasting, and some people want to do that because they want to experience the autophagy of cells, which causes another sort of anti-aging regeneration to the system. So if you were going to do that, you take the drops in lieu of food. 2-3 times a day. If you eat just once a day, you take drops twice in place of meals. So either way, it's not brain surgery. It's 3 times a day. The drops are actually pretty easy to take. I have mine here. I can show you. I've got a cute little package for them. This one's a Slenderix. The first one's called Slenderix, and it's a clear drop. So you take this full dropper full under your tongue, and you leave it there for 30 seconds, and then you swallow. 10 minutes later, you do the next one called Accelerate, and it's reddy brown, and they both taste really good. This one tastes like chocolate mint. And you put that one under your tongue for 30 seconds, and then you swallow. That was 10 minutes later. And then you go ahead and eat. Try to do it 3 times a day. Try to do it in that time span. And that's for the best result. So you can, start off with light exercise and then, get into the half hour. Half hour is fine. Any more than that, you don't need to do really for this. Okay, so men and women report an increase of energy, improvement of mood, decreasing of appetite, and reduction, if you're a woman, of menopause symptoms experienced in many of the symptoms, especially hot flashes, have gone away in the women that are on the drops. If one refrains from spiking your blood sugar for 3 days, you can get off the addiction to all the foods that are so addictive that so many of us are basically victim to. So if you eat badly or you start eating a lot of carbs and then you start the cravings again, because every day you eat a carb that is on a high glycemic index, such as the almighty potato, that's an 85 on the glycemic index, which is the glucose is 100, the potato's 85. You may as well be having straight glucose. Table sugar is 61. It's actually better for you, not better for you, but better on the glycemic index than a potato. So if you have a potato, you just lost 3 days of losing weight. You can't do it. You'll have to wait for 3 days for your body to be able to be receptive again. Therefore, if you could just stick to the foods on this plan, you will be able to stop the cravings and intelligently go about your life choosing better. And then you'll be able to also lose the weight. And it's up to you. Sustained use of the drops has shown people start to crave foods that are better for them and they can keep off the weight. So the drops are sort of like a crutch or a bridge between the foods we're addicted to, and they help control the withdrawal symptoms of those foods that when we get off the chemicals and the sugars found in our typical processed diet. So I'll show you a few before and afters, because I know maybe staring at this food list is making you hyperventilate because you really want that donut, but check her out. She looks pretty good in the first place, but she's definitely, my friend Julie has been an amazing success story, one of the many. And she's, gone from in May to April, she's done very well in her weight loss. All right, so that's Julie. This is a whole bunch of other people I met in Florida. Can't remember all their names, but I did see them on stage, or I heard their stories, or both. And there are more. There's so many more. There were about 600 people there. 500 of them had a story and a weight loss. Some of them lost 300 pounds and they were already, they were still big. And I'm like, wow, wow. And they're still going. So it's just amazing how much weight has been lost. I don't even know what the total would be with all the people on these drops. There's so many people on them now. So Terry lost 35, Ashley lost 20. Ashley's lovely. She was on stage a lot talking to us. And she, she's of course, they're both success stories, as you can see. This is Dr. Ray Strand and a few of his books. This is the one I keep getting taken from me. This one I just got and haven't lent out yet. This one, I don't know where I put it. Anyway, and Dr. Crystal Vance, Kristen White, and Brett West are all on the Wellness Council or the Research and Development or Athletic Council. So they're all in partner company in a big way to help us get the best products we can. There are 215 clinical trials or more, and they, they're always making this this company better with the products. So the Slenderix and the Accelerate, 2 different bottles, as I showed you. The first one is a homeopathic formula, and it helps reduce your hunger and control your appetite so you feel like you're in control, which is nice. We like to control things. Our own appetite is a good one. It eliminates your fat stores so you experience much more or many more inches lost. Dr. Ray Strand said that doubles the success for the weight loss in his patients. And it also have the time necessary to lose the weight that they would normally lose by exercising and dieting. So, and that has been a consistent report from many of the doctors that have used this and many people in general that have just taken it. So how do you use it? I showed you. Basically, you just take a dropper full, wait, and do it on an empty stomach. Wait 10 minutes, then you go to this one, the second drop, which helps boost your metabolism. And it has a proprietary combination of methylcobalamin, vitamin B12, biotin, which is vitamin H, and a blend of adaptogenic herbs that will help with weight loss. This vitamin 12 formula is the bioavailable one. This is more expensive and worth it because it really is taken in by your body very well and used very well. It's even better, I've heard, than a vitamin B12 shot. So this, and tastes good too. So that's a lot better. It enhances your energy levels so you can move more while you eat less. and helps stabilize your stress response and mood so you don't seek comfort food. Because many of us aren't even just, we're not only addicted to the physical aspect of the food, we are also emotionally addicted to food. Let's face it, we know this. So it helps to get rid of that too. And you take it 10 minutes after, and then you eat. So they're tiny but mighty little bottles, and they are hormone-free, homeopathic. They help with weight management and appetite control. They're gluten-free, and they help you feel free because you can finally free yourself of some abdominal fat. Take a look at her. Take a look at him. All right, I'm going to go over the ingredients with you soon, and I hope I can pronounce them. I have not been practicing. I should have been, but I'm not a homeopathic doctor. I'm sure you guys, that all of you who are, will be laughing a little, but that's okay. You'll get the gist. So here we are. First bottle. We've got bottle 1. We have ammonium bromatum, which is a homeopathic remedy for chronic obesity, and it also helps with neuralgic headaches. So that's interesting that people that get headaches a lot often find this bottle helps them. I know somebody who says she's on them, not that she really needs to lose weight. They're helping with her headaches. Another person I know is on them, not that she needs to lose weight, but because she really enjoys what they do for her sleep. So you'll see that helps too. These bottles help your hormones. So Avena sativa, derived from the common oat plant and has been used for medical purposes since the Middle Ages for the vital nervous system. So this is for a tonic for the nervous system and elevates your energy levels, which you already know. Calcarea carbonica is a mineral derived from oyster shells, and it helps people that are trying to lose weight by controlling their appetite and cravings and helping with the nerves. Again, suppressing appetite, helping with your nervous system. It's a pattern. It's happening a lot. So if you're doing everything you think you can do and you're still not losing weight, this could be the edge that you need. Fucus vesiculosus, a powerful homeopathic remedy for obesity, and it helps support the goiter that aids digestion and thyroid enlargement in obese subjects. Contains high concentrations of iodine, which is essential in the synthesis of thyroid hormones. So some people do take a drop of iodine a day. This is good too. You can take this and it will help you with your hormones. Graphites, a homeopathic medicine that is prepared using the powder of pure graphite carbon mineral. Graphites are traditionally used to treat skin conditions. I wish I knew about this when I was a teenager, but in recent times have been a popular option for those who suffer from metabolic imbalance. Hello, most of the population, except your skinny friends. We won't talk about them. Graphites often suggested to those who struggle with constant hunger pains during a diet and if you gained weight during menopause. And also it helps to maintain your metabolism, especially in older women. So that's me. So I'm happy I know about them. Ignatia amara is known as Ignatia, and it is from the Philippines, and it's traditionally helping treat emotional distress. And also it helps with people who struggle with anxiety, nervousness, and overeating from that. If you crave sugar and sugary drinks, it helps with that too. Also, that could be a parasite that's craving the sugar, and you want to get rid of those as well. Parvinzarin can help you with that. All right, Lycopodium clavatum is a homeopathic remedy that's helped with an extract of club moss. Club moss was mentioned recently in this symposium, and it is in these drops. It also is good for people with anxiety. Again, this is why I feel so good. There's no anxiety anymore. And also, if you have cravings for sweets, this improves your metabolism and controls the cravings. So potatoes, carbs in general, all sugar, those are the devil for your metabolism. And, you don't really care anymore when you take these drops. Some people might psychologically be worried about that. Oh my God, who will I be if I don't love my donuts? But this is something that you can work out. Okay. Natura Mur 12 times is a slow-acting remedy that responds well to chronic ailments. It helps your red blood cells count and albumin, and a protein found in animal and vegetable tissue to restore the tissues of the body so that you can you can assimilate the body's need for salt. So it helps with your tissue salts. Sulfuricum acidum is a remedy indicated for people who tend to rush through their meals and continue eating beyond becoming full because their hypothalamus is wonky, right? They will benefit from this particular ingredient. And also it's good for depression and deep pain and physical injury, like after a surgery. So bring it on, bottle 1. All right. So also we have thyroidinum 9 times. It's organotherapy it's made from the thyroid gland of animals, and it helps with your regulation of carbohydrate, protein, and fat metabolism. And it will help give you relief from metabolic disorder, muscular weakness, and sugar cravings. In fact, muscular weakness comes from metabolic disorder, so it all works synergistically. Kali phosphorycum is used for temporary relief of fatigue, weakness, and exhaustion. It helps manage a lack of nerve power and people suffering from numbness in your limbs. If your legs are going numb just a little bit too often, your hands, your fingertips, your legs, you might need a little bit of this. And finally, very interesting to me is this one. This is your your drug addict help. Nux vomica is used to help relieve symptoms of withdrawal from chemical addictions, like those in processed foods. Hello, McDonald's. It's a soothing effect on the brain chemistry. So you will feel better and not have to go through the drive-through. All right. So that was bottle 1. Bottle 2 will speed up your slim down. And it is now, this is the vitamin B12. The bioavailable vitamin B12 and the biotin, which helps to metabolize fats, carbohydrates, and proteins while helping your metabolism. And it has adaptogens in it. So these adaptogens are very good for you. There's ashwagandha and rhodiola, and both of those have had a calming effect on the body. And also under stress, you'll be able to handle not having your cortisol levels shoot up because you'll handle your stress better. So we've got B12, which we've discussed. It's the ready-to-use version. Not cheap, but definitely worth it. Also supports healthy skin and nails. Ashwagandha, natural stress reliever. Helps your memory, helps your cognitive function. Rhodiola helps with fatigue, decrease your stress, increase your brain function, improve exercise performance. It won't get you to the gym, but it might help you go, and could help reduce symptoms of depression. Biotin, which is very good for your nervous system, helps the enzymes in your body carry out their jobs, keeps your cells working as they should, and it also can help manage diabetes. We're hoping you don't get diabetes, but if you already have it, it might help you. There are many people I saw on that stage in Florida talking about how their drugs were reduced, halved, or eliminated because they were able to manage them with the drops. And that's why they want to be on the drops for the rest of their lives. Do they need to be? Does a person need to be? No. Do they want to be? Those people do. Yes. The drops over drugs. Absolutely. Rose hips, an anti-inflammatory, contains vitamin C. And of course, it increases the estrogen that your body can absorb. So that's me. This is me before, and then there's me after. I lost 15 pounds in about a month, and I'm still counting. I feel great. Definitely my energy has been increased. My mood is better, and my metabolism has been increased. My appetite has been controlled to the point where when I take my drops, I often forget to eat. I've twice forgotten to eat dinner, left it in the microwave oven, or just forgot to make one because I've been so busy with other things. But I never forget to eat. Like, that's crazy. So anyway, I know it works. And it's worked for many people. I know people that have lost, like I said, hundreds of pounds. Some people have decided to become customers and buy retail. As doctors, you may want to become a distributor and sell to your clients, as they may definitely want to hear about these. And then, we can talk about options, but you can get a bulk order of the drops and then sell them to your clients, because this is an amazing thing that they need to learn about. All right, you can open a virtual business for less than $30 in American, less than 40 in Canadian. And it gives you all the tools you need: a replicated website, back office, partner co-share app, award-winning marketing tools, training, everything. Yeah, and that will all come to you if you decide to do this, and get a hold of me and let me help you figure that out. And you can, buy one, keep it for yourself, and sell the others for, other people who need these. And every month you're going to want them, and so are they, because I never have enough. I'm always buying them. I have an auto ship, but I also have an extra order or two every month. So you can turn social media into profit. There's something called boards, which is basically a ready-made turnkey system here for you, plug and play for the social media. If you're not able to do social media in your position, it's possible, I don't know your rules, then that's fine. You can talk. You have the integrity as a doctor, and you can also have a lot of stories behind you. There's also a Facebook group called Circle of Health with more than 30,000 people in it, who all have stories and pictures and recipes and hints. So the more you buy, the bigger the discount, obviously. And there you go. So these drops do work. You can contact me if you would like to learn more. My web link is there. My email is there. My Instagram with my jewelry is there. And that's my phone number. And I will put the link for Dr. Strand's video with Dr. Crystal Vance up in the chat momentarily. Okay, so I think I'm done. I don't need to share anymore. I'll leave this up a bit, and then I'll stop sharing, and I guess take questions if you have any.
Okay. Anybody have any questions about anything?
What would you like to talk about?
What's the price point here for these things?
It will depend, because when you're buying them in bulk, it will be a different price than if you're buying them retail off the website. But off the website, retail Canadian, it's $220 for I think around that anyway, for a box of drops. But I'm making them available to my customers and my people for $180. And you can do that when you're a distributor. You can decide and sell them for a discount to have them try them, and then they can become a distributor and get a better price as well. But if you want to, just sell them somewhere, whatever it is, $220 is about regular. I think that's the equivalent to, I believe, $180 in the States. But I might be wrong about the Canadian dollar. But anyway, on the website for Partner Co, you'll see the price retail. And then if you join, it will be a different price if you are a distributor. And like I said, the joining price is a one-time price of around $40 Canadian, or $30 if you're in the States.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what kind of are there any downsides to any of these?
Well, you might
Side effects.
you might be depressed because you've lost some weight and now you don't know what to complain about. I don't know, your mood's good, so you don't have an excuse. No, there are no real downsides physically of taking the drops. I don't think there's really a downside mentally, because it improves your mood. I don't think there are any downsides to the drops.
Okay. Doctor,
Well, one that I think they're fixing is if you drop your drops, on your granite countertop, then you have to buy the two together, because right now they're not sold separately. They're sold as a duo. So just try to keep them together. I think that would be good advice. And you can use one of these little pouchy things if you want, or make one yourself, or whatever you like.
so Dr. Zarin, can we ask you what your opinion is on these combinations? I know it's not the classic homeopathy, but what's your opinion on what you saw in these combinations?
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Heather, for your wonderful presentations. So anytime I hear about homeopathy, especially weight loss, takes me back to my research in 2009 to 2011 for my PhD program, on which I did it. It was like a 2-3 years research. When I checked all the remedies that Heather was reading, actually 2 of them are sticking out, which is one of them is called Caria carbonica and graphites. After all the 2-3 years research, then I realized these 2 polypress remedies are the most effective homeopathic medicine in my as a constitutional medicines for my candidates during my research.
Which
So
ones?
what I think, sorry, Calcarea carbonica and Garophytes, there were two biggest homeopathic remedies in my research when on obesity and weight loss. So since then, I decided to incorporate it to almost all weight loss programs, so in different potencies. So, I mean, these two are the most powerful, even though none of them is for weight loss. Homeopathic medicine does not have any medicine for anything. The concept and principles of homeopathy is just working on the inner endocrine system to bring balance, harmony, support, and stimulation. So what I think about this combination, it's the selected medicine, homeopathic medicine, have been done very properly, from polycrest to small medicine, that they are working, they are compatible to each other, and they're enhancing each other's, biological functions. So what I see from this complex is that they address some of major pathways, such as central nervous system to the digestive system, which to me, the good ones are, for example, Nux vomica, and from central nervous system to hepatic system, it's lycopodium. From central nervous system to renal, to, let me just go to my notes. Natrum muriaticum, for example, it's from central nervous system to renal system. It's for water distribution and water retention, and also to adrenal glands, from central nervous system to adrenal glands. And they're choosing very selective remedies such as Ignatia amara, for which is the main acute grief remedies, and it works amazingly on nervous system and to calm the person down. So because weight loss, to me, I was a weight loss counselor for years, is a very, very challenging thing. So I always say treating cancer patients for me is easier than treating weight loss and obese people, because they are very emotional. So, and for example, the cancer patients are very suppressed. You don't see much of emotions in them, but weight loss, obese people are very emotional. Ignatia amara has been chosen right on this complex, and also Pacus vesiculosus, which has, as Heather just mentioned, it has a very high iodine content, which works on thyroid for metabolism. They are very compatible. And this selected thyroidinum in this, which I cannot have much of comments on that, which is an organotherapy as a sarcode. I personally do not mix it with other mineral kingdom or plant kingdoms, which they have done a very good selection of them. But thyroidinum is a sarcode organotherapy. I don't know exactly the potency. Heather can just mention again the potency of thyroidinum. If it's a low potency, definitely it's a match with the other remedies that's selected. So my comment on this, which is I already talked to Heather before, that I approved of it, and especially it's combined with some form of B complex B12, which is amazing for the nervous system. I have the second comment is that it falls into biotherapeutic and homotoxicology, this combination. So it's not like a classical homeopathic approach, but the main thing that everybody should know, because there are a lot of critics around and they, criticizing some of homotoxicology medicine, such as this that Heather just mentioned. But to understand this, because I teach that, and to understand that when it comes in homeopathic preparation, because they are diluted and potentized to a certain level. So the whole complex, no matter it's 2 remedies or is 20 remedies, it becomes one. So the whole complex considered one medicine. So because they chose, they selected the medicine that if they're compatible, then they can enhance each other's function. But they are in many ways, they work in a similar way. So at this point, this complex or any form of homotoxicology or biotherapeutic homeopathic medicine is not many individuals. They don't work individually, they work as one. So whatever the name of this medicine is just one medicine, no matter how many remedies is in it. So because it's a holistic approach and it works on the one unit, but it's just different pathway. So I hope that I answered you, Dr. Clearfield.
I think you did.
So even though I don't know much of information, I know it from Heather, but I've seen Heather because she's a friend. 25 years, Heather. How many years have you friends? Let's go back.
My daughter is 23, and you've known her since she was a baby, so we'll go there.
Yes, 20 years, and plus she's my neighbor as well, and. So I have seen her, she's always been beautiful, but since she has been using this, I think she lost a lot of, unwanted weight that she didn't like as well. So,
yeah. And it's been quite a struggle because my metabolism was so messed up. So I see in the chat, ask if you take with or without food. The answer is yes.
Yes.
You can take it before you actually eat, or you can take it instead of food. But I think it's good to keep your metabolism going and eat 3 times a day. And then you just take it before you eat 3 times a day. But if you are doing the thing that so many people are doing, and it's fine, intermittent fasting, you can still take these drops instead of your meal. So that's how you do it.
But
and the instructions are the instructions are inside the pamphlet. All of it is described. Yes, and yeah, it's just good. I'm happy to help you find out more about the drops if you have any other questions.
How do we know where the sources come from? Like I mentioned earlier, before we even started, I had some ivermectin that I got from India, and I really don't even know if there's ivermectin in it. How do we know, what you're using is what it says it is?
Well, the council that puts together the products in partner company is extremely stringent with its standards, and they wouldn't even, like, there are vitamins out there in the world that use stearates in them, which cause cancer, but the vitamins are supposed to be against cancer, but because these stearates help move the machine along and keep it nice and moisturized or whatever, lubricated, they use them and then they go into the vitamins, and then you actually are having something that's against your health. Our company calls out on that. There's a lot of third-party testing. They're very vigilant with their standards. So they're made in the, the same place. They have a very stringent standards. I do trust that, because there was a point where, with the BioPro Q, for instance, they use a grapeseed oil in it that's from a particular grape in a particular field where they won't even bother, and they could have made it cheaper, but they won't because they want it to be the best. So that's kind of the formulator's mentality, and I believe that is what's gone through, and shown through in the product. So I do trust the formulation, and I think we have a good council, and I think we have, good people running the company, and they're not trying to put anything bad in there.
We have a lot of practitioners from the Philippines. Is it available there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Many countries on that flag drop down. When you go into partner company, you've got your regular, you've got the States, you've got Canada, and then you have 80 others, I believe. So, yes.
Okay, I want to ask Dr. Landrito, do you have any experience with any of these type of products? You're muted. We can't hear you.
Yes, actually, I don't have any experience whatsoever in homeopathic, and I was so impressed with the presentation of Heather, and I have a question to ask her. Can I?
Yes, you can, of course.
Heather, first of all, I have to congratulate your presentation. It's very amazing.
Thank
And
you.
you have before and after pictures of, overweight people or obese people reversing, no? And you yourself benefited from it. So I believe your presentation is really, it works. I would like to try it to a lot of patients. My question is this, there are people who have normal BMI, body mass index, and yet they have shown truncal obesity, and they're also, with laboratories, you can see insulin resistance there. This two pair of bottles, Slendrix and Accelerate, can they work on that, or do I just have to give Accelerate, or what
You
can
do
you?
both. You do both. And if somebody does not need to lose weight because they are at a great weight, they just balance their hormones without having to lose the weight. The weight loss is a product of the lifestyle change. And if you already look the way you want, but you still need your balance to balance out your hormones, that's what will happen. There are people that are too thin too that can take them and balance out their hormones. There are people that have no appetite and just don't eat because their hypothalamus is messed up, and that will be helped by this. So I know I've been showing you bigger to small, but generally that is the way we do it in before and afters. But there are people that as long as your hormones are getting balanced out, whatever it is that you need will happen. And that's what's so beautiful about it.
So are you saying I still use the Slendrix and the Accelerate?
You use them both together. They're not to be used separately. The only reason that they'd be sold separately is if one of them hits the counter and goes everywhere. Yeah,
Okay.
use them both.
Yeah, I would like to try it. I have a lot of patients who will need it, and specifically you said it can even reverse insulin resistance. Is that it?
Yes, it does. Yes.
Okay. So
And
I
yeah,
went to your
definitely
web-
you can take down my information and get a hold of me in any of those ways that are still on the screen there. That'd be my
I just
pleasure.
went to your web link. I could not. I got your web link. I opened it. Your name was there. And after that, it's all blank. I don't know how to go with
All
it.
right, I think it might just be the country thing. It might be in the wrong. You have to go up in the right hand side. There'll be a flag, and you find your flag, and then it'll be easier for you. But if you go to email, I'll help you through it. Or if you want to WhatsApp me, we can talk about all that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and you mentioned it's available in the Philippines, so I will email you then.
Yes,
Thank you very much, Heather. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Dr. Gerber, you're still around? I know you have some experience with this. No, I guess he's not. Okay. Okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions, or are you around? No? Okay.
I have
Thank
a
you.
comment. Oh, Dr. Burgess, you go first.
Always wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any adjuncts in the homeopuncture world for what we've been discussing tonight?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah, you're the homeopuncture guy.
Yeah. Homeopathy, well, homeopathy I don't know much about. Acupuncture, it always balances you out. That's the name of the game. That's balance. The subtleties and complexities of homeopathy is a little bit different, but yeah, we would use a few specific things to go homeopuncture, like do 20 on the top of the head, and do it with the type of products you would find in gosh, since we're talking about it, thank you. Didn't mean to talk, but yeah, there's one thing you could almost always rely on, and that's the heal products. Traumeal,
We can't get any.
without going through the specifics, it has about 10 homeopathics in it. If you take the Traumeal and add it to any specific acupuncture point you want, especially do 20 on the top of the head, which balances you out. And if they have pain, do it in Li4 on the hand. And another one just to balance you out is the do 14. If you guys don't know about that funny little acupuncture point. It's like an
Well,
intersection.
you were the person that
Like,
talked about the iris moss before, and I knew that you knew your stuff because I have, like, well, that's one of the ingredients in the drops. But I wanted to mention also in the B drops, the ones that are bioavailable, many women, because I talked about how if you're on birth control, you lose your ability to synthesize your vitamin B or to produce it properly. This vitamin B will the problem with when you're deficient in that, it causes your liver to overproduce your homocysteine molecules, and they have razor-like edges that lodge themselves in your arteries, causing little nicks that are later covered up by cholesterol so you don't bleed to death. And then that cholesterol is in your arteries, which is a real problem and causes blockages. So it's your homocysteine levels that are the big issue, more than even cholesterol issues. And the homocysteine levels will be brought down with the vitamin B from the second bottle. And that way it also helps you because it provides soothing balm on your brain chemistry. It helps reverse the stress in the liver from all this homocysteine damage and give the liver ability to suspend bile salts, which are needed for the vitamin A and vitamin D absorption. So it helps the function of your metabolism and your immune system. So these are all really great effects of the second bottle. The first one being homeopathic and the second one being more adaptogenic. So I hope that the information has intrigued you to some point. And if you are interested, if you have any patients that would like to lose weight, or if you would like to lose weight, that you can contact me. Probably WhatsApp is best, and then I can just send you my link again in case there's an issue with the way it is there. I don't know. And yeah, be happy to help you out.
thank you.
I'll be going to conference very soon in Florida again, in about a week or two, a couple weeks, after the Air Canada strike starts. But luckily, I'm not going then. I'm going on WestJet, and it's going to be about like a nice weekend of thousands of people who are on these drops. Thousands of people will be there. And, as long as they weren't all on Air Canada. So we're going to be there and enjoy the conference and get more success stories and be happy to share that with you.
Heather, since you have all these people, maybe you could join us. I'll get in touch with you and we'll discuss research. That's our new bag. And now that Melvin's back, he's going to help us. And Robert Quinn, Bill, we have a bunch of people. Everybody that we see in these links is welcome to join us in some legitimate research. And we're doing it because there's virtually no research in integrative medicine. So if there's a simple way, even with survey, very, very simple. And if you did a survey that would help these people, it's an added value to the product.
Absolutely. And there's a Circle of Health Facebook group with, like I said, over 30,000 people in it that are always doing that kind of thing. Like, and the research is, well, basically people are giving their testimonies, and then there's also research done. I mean, I told you there's over 315 clinical studies done by this company, and Dr. Ray Strand was one of the people. Dr. Marlissa Hurt was another one. Many other doctors have done research in the company.
If the studies have already been done, I hope you will share the information with us.
Clinical, yes, I have it on WhatsApp. I can send you clinical. I have it all. It's all in the board. So when I showed you that turnkey system, the clinical studies are there. The ingredients are there. There's so much in that. And I could send it, but I have it in a different system. But yeah, I'll get it to Dr. Clearfield and he can send it out. Is that good?
Excellent.
Send it out. Okay, I'll do it that way.
Yep. If you had to pick, before Dr. Nerio goes, because I know his question is going to be intense. If you had to pick, 50-50, 60-40 compared to mental, physical, it almost sounds like this is more physical than mental. So it's like
they affect each other.
You think they're
they're definitely connected, but this particular, so when I went on the drops, I can tell you mentally, I felt great. I was on top of the world. I was getting a lot done. And I forgot to eat a couple times, so that was funny. Also physically, I was moving. I was in the gym a lot, like right at the beginning. I could move. I was getting up. I was hanging out. I actually went to my friend's boutique and just helped her sell. I don't even work for her. I helped her sell for 5 hours, just having a great time. Did that for a day. Like I just had so much energy, and she appreciated it. And it's just, you know what, it's a great effect. So mental, physical, they all work. And I mean, if you're feeling sluggish and if you're feeling basically fat, then you're not going to feel great generally. If your cortisol is high, that means you're stressed. So this helps counteract the cortisol. It helps to improve your mood in general, and then, you know, your energy, so you can go to the gym. So it's all related. But people notice the physical. They're not necessarily, well, they might notice your mood too. Yeah, my daughter notices. But you definitely can notice both. So I'd say positive on all fronts. The biggest thing, and I didn't show you this clip, but what Dr. Strand wanted to mention is that some people will notice right away, and some people it'll take longer. And don't get discouraged, because if you're one of the people that take longer, it just means you're in a deeper stage of insulin resistance, and you need to hold on and don't eat anything. Like, don't cheat once even in this first month. It's not really cheating. It's cheating yourself, because you are going to spike your blood sugar and waste 3 days. Every time you do it, you'll waste 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Anything from your perspective, Dr. Dario?
Yeah, so great presentation, Heather.
Thank you. Yours too, every time I hear you.
Oh, well, this is a good example of what we call a poly remedy. So there are different types of homeopathic remedies, and we use classical homeopathy as single remedies, and yours is classified as what we call poly. When we use poly remedies, this is for the reason that you're actually trying to approach different specific toxicities or problems for a patient in one combination.
Well, two bottles.
Right.
Yeah.
2 bottles. Well, basically they have multiple remedies in it, meaning homeopathic remedies. And what basic concepts of why they use that is because there's so many toxicities that are being encountered by people nowadays. And single remedies were used before more often because of course, less toxicities in the world. So that's why this is something that I am very familiar with. And currently I'm using products of the same nature. And Guna is something that is almost similar to this presentation. And also when John mentioned about Tramil, that's also considered a poly remedy. And John, just to give you an update, I have a meeting today with the distributor of Tramil here in the Philippines. And as we were talking about this is not available anymore in the States, but hopefully we can tie these connections again and hopefully bring in some, hopefully back. I mean, we're not talking in mass amounts here, but in small amounts, and hopefully it can be brought back into the practitioner's hands in the US.
It's interesting. You said poly remedy, and you reminded me that this is also helping so many women with polycystic fibrosis. Like when they have all those cysts in their fibroids in their uterus, this helps it. That was like a big thing. I forgot all about it. Forgot to tell you, but there are women on stage talking about how it helped with that. So talk about a poly remedy, right? It helps with that particular issue as well, which I don't have.
Right.
You know, I'm glad I know about it, but forgot to tell you. Sorry.
Oh yeah, well, of course, when you talk about PCOS, the driver of that condition is also insulin resistance. And as you mentioned, if you focus on weight loss, you definitely will have that basically trying to reverse the whole pathology of PCOS.
And I'm not a doctor, so I didn't even know what that was before I went to Florida. But then so many people came on stage and talked about how their syndrome had been, you know, made better and gone away or whatever. I'm not going to say cured. Don't think you're allowed. But this was a huge part of it. So I learned about it, and I learned, if I ever got it, what to do about it, because this is here. So it was really great. And yeah, it's great to know about these things. It's great to be able to help others.
This is good stuff. So keep on using it and try to promote it as much as you can. It does good things.
I'm not going to shut up about it, because I know. And when you know, you know. You know?
Okay.
Can I make a comment here?
Yep. Comments or questions?
Okay, so in regard to homeopathic, domain and approach, there is no one prescription fits all. And two things that I would like to, like everybody knows about, homeopathy medicine that is prepared almost for everybody, right? The way that, this system is. They absolutely work, as Heather definitely tried it, and so many thousand people have tried it. But there are two actions that everybody should take into consideration and be aware of that, because homeopathic medicine works in different individuals differently. And there are two actions about homeopathic medicine. One is the aggravation, and also one is proving. So I would like to tell you about the stories that I went through, not with this, with my medicine. So that's why not two people are going to experience the same thing. As Heather just mentioned, sometimes some people, the result is much faster than the others. One thing that everybody should be aware about homeopathic medicine, and that normally each homeopathic medicine stays in the body for 50 days almost. So, and as long as the person is losing weight, it's okay, you can continue. But if the body goes on plateau or stops stop the medicine. So it's a time. Otherwise, if you keep using the homeopathic medicine, your body goes through proving. If it goes through proving, it's not pleasant at all. So that's why, I always mention, so stop it, then see how your body is reacting, and then go back on it. So do not continuously take homeopathic medicine for more than 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, your body might go through provings, and it's going to be very hard work to reverse it. It's about everything. It's about all homeopathic medicine. So no matter if it's classical, single remedies, or even combination. So that's why I think I mentioned it to Heather once, that so if the body stops losing weight in any form, so in any form of homeopathy, no matter classical or combination, then stop the medicine. Otherwise, the medicine is going to work the opposite. It's going to go, and it takes the body into proving.
Okay, so there are people that lose right away and they stay on it and they're looking good and they keep losing. There are people that had plateaus, stopped, started again, and it worked again. I've seen every combination, heard about them, because at that conference I heard so much. I'm sure I'll hear more again next week or whatever, or 2 weeks from now. But it's you're right. Like, some people want to be on it for a longer period of time. You can be on it for, they said 8 weeks. Dr. Marlissa Hurt said 8 weeks to make sure to keep it there, and then you can do 3 months, you could do 6, but you can stop and start again. There's just been a lot of combinations, so I guess it is individual. And I mean, there are people that have been on the drops systemically, they've just stayed on them and still consistently are losing and don't want to go off. So those are those people too. So lots of combinations out there. Yeah, so it's good to have your input about that.
Yeah. So as I said, there is no one prescription fits everybody. So everybody has to.
Right.
But homeopathic medicine that has this form of action that everybody should be aware of. So it's not like allopathic medicine that they can be on it for the rest of their lives. So for diabetes, for this, for that, for the rest of their lives, homeopathic is not like that. You gotta, the moment that you feel that you got to your desired weight or standard weight or wherever, stop it. Or if you go on a plateau, stop it and then resume and go back on it again.
And that's good to know. I think the idea of being on an actual drug for the rest of my life just makes my skin crawl. So I'm so happy. Like, I mean, whether you say it's okay or not, I think it's terrible. I don't ever want to be on anything for the rest of my life. So, but that's me. Call me crazy.
Because the majority of people, they're used to this kind of concept to be on the medicine. So when I ask my patient, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Say how? I said, shouldn't be on it. I said no. just wait. You know, even though like the result is there. So, but this medicine, they're energized. They work for 50 days. Majority of them, they work up to 50 days. So just stop and let the body takes it over. Just stimulations is enough. Let the body takes it over and see how it works.
Homeostasis, you mean? Just let it kind of go back to where it needs to be?
Like when the body starts, for example, in this case of weight loss, when the body goes over 10, 15 pounds, losing 10, 15 pounds, it means the balancing and harmony is taking place. It already occurred, right? And let the body works on its own then. So what I always say, when we get to 85% of what you're looking for, stop the medicine. So don't continue with the medicine unless the body takes it over. The vital force takes it over, because it's a form of training. So we are retraining the body. When the body is already trained and you see that it's already showing the effect, so then there is no need for medicine. So that's homeopathy for everybody and almost for all remedies, no matter combinations, complexes, single remedy, a small remedy, polychorus remedy. That's a concept that applies to all and applies to everybody. It's not, no, it's for me, for you, for everybody. So the whole purpose is just to bring the body, first stimulates, then balancing and bringing the body into homeostasis and equilibrium. The rest, I say, stay away, stay out of the way of the vital force, let it work on its own. So that's why I'm one of the homeopaths that get off my patients so fast. and sometimes the question, so if the problem comes back, what's going to happen? I said, okay, just phone call away. don't worry about that. So the concept of staying on the medicine is just kind of it's very common among people, but not with homeopathic medicine.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. So next week we have Dr. Zarin on. And did we discuss a topic, Dr. Zarin? It's kind of, my old timers disease is kicking in. So if we did, it's.
Oh, God. You just became a homeopath. What are you talking about Alzheimer's?
And not Alzheimer's, old timers.
Old timers. That's what I said. Sorry about that. And
we did. If we did talk about a topic, it's slipping my mind. So,
I think last time I talked about the cured cases. Like one of them was the thyroid cancer,
right?
And another one was infertility.
Mm-hmm.
So somehow the second case, I think the slides were now moving.
That's right.
And then when I watched the video, Dr. Clearfield sent me the video. I said, "Oh, the entire case, the slides were not moving. They were just, Anyways, Dr. Clearfield, I discussed it. I'm going to repeat it again, if you agree. And I have a case of a stroke and the paralysis after stroke.
Okay.
Which is completely cured, and also Crohn's disease. And if we have time, I have 2 suicidal as well.
Okay, great.
Quick question, real quick. How evasive is cancer in Canada compared to America? Because it's going off the charts in America right now.
Sorry, can you repeat it, Joel, again?
Cancer in Canada compared to cancer in America. It seems like cancer in America has taken off, and it's taken a lot of veterans' lives. And we got a lot of the burn pits, and we got a lot of the chemicals, and we got a lot of the shots, and we got a lot of the pills, and we got a lot of blah 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 and alcohol and drugs. So I'm just curious, with the cancer overload in America, is there a cancer overload in Canada?
Cancer is a global issue now, so it's like obesity. It doesn't discriminate any countries. So, and the rate of cancer is absolutely high in Canada. So
Great.
I think in one of my talk at the same here, I think I talked about it, that one of the parents of a child who had cancer in a sick children hospital in Toronto, they asked me to go and to visit the child. That was a few years ago. So I could not believe it, that is how much they're hiding from people. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children. They're in just six children hospital, in one hospital, and they're suffering from cancer. And
I have a Marine friend who's a helicopter pilot for a children's hospital, and he sees it all the time.
It's unbelievable. And me as a physician also, I had no idea until I saw it with my own eyes, that all kids from 4 years old to 12, 13, 14, they're all shaved, they're all on the bed sitting, that practically is a deathbed, because there's no answer for that. So unfortunately, it's the most degenerative, chronic phase of disease evolution, which is happening all around the world. And Canada is not an exception. And in Canada, it's very high as well. But the rate is definitely lower than the United States, because you guys are 300 million people. We are not even 40 million. So we are definitely, and also the natural medicine in Canada is kicking. So it's.
I didn't know. I didn't know you guys were that low in your population. That's pretty wild.
No, we are just not even 40 million. So, and the good thing about Canada is that natural medicine is having a great foundation and place among people, and also Health Canada is supportive as well. So almost, with the survey they have done, more than 75% of Canadians are into natural medicine, one or another. And the problem is just economic issues, that people have to pay from their own pockets, and no insurances, no, government, supporting people in that. That's why people always try to go to a free system in order to get answers. But I mean, people are really into it. And I have a very, very busy practice, and which doesn't make me happy at all, because I don't like to see patients. So, honestly, I'm so happy if my academy is full, which is to teach doctors to go and educate their patients. But when I have so many patients, it doesn't make me happy. It actually breaks my heart. But and the good thing also is that the people are awakening, and people are getting into the, natural methods.
Agree. Do you think that it's the mothers? Do you think that it's the diet of the mothers, and that's the reason the kids are catching cancer?
Joel, the babies are born from intoxicated and deficient mothers.
Amen.
Almost the majority of babies are born from intoxicated and deficient mothers, and they are coming and swimming in toxins from hospital, from day one with vaccinations. Day one vaccinations. Imagine a baby's already intoxicated and deficient, and they're injecting a large amount of toxins in their system at birth. And then again has to swim. So and it's very unfortunate situation. But again, I'm happy about what I see, the movement, and the mothers now, we're really taking care of themselves during pregnancy now.
And the fathers are trying to, and the doctors, they're all trying. Everybody, we're all trying.
It's a bad situation, but again, me, Dr. Clearfield, and hopefully Dr. Norio also comes to the academy. Me
and Dr. Quinn. Dr. Quinn's a professional in toxics and chemicals and poisons and all the above. He's pretty intense. It's all of us combined. We got this.
Right, Quinn. That's why you don't wear a shirt.
Didn't I tell you shirts are toxic? I didn't tell you that.
Right.
unfortunately, even the food, no matter how good we are with selecting, choosing organic and this and that, I don't trust anything that comes to the market anymore. And there's a lot of information I received that none of them is, they're not truthful about anything that they're bringing to us.
Amen.
But that's why, my suggestion to everyone, no matter from myself to everyone, do the detoxification, homeopathy detoxification and drainage at the cellular level 4 times a year. Do it 4 times a year. Before, I used to do it like 2 times a year. Now I do it every 3 months.
And don't go to a regular grocery store. Go to Whole Foods. Go to natural grocers. Go to
No, that's why I'm asking my friends. Even I discussed it with Heather. Let's all of us move to a farm somewhere so far. Now I'm waiting for Heather to say yes.
Okay, well, just give me a little bit of time. We'll see.
We'll see. Hopefully, in a future, we all want to go
like better every day.
Natural, healthy community, or just go to a farm and try to do our plantations. And I don't know if it's doable, but I don't trust anything anymore. The only thing I trust is homeopathic medicine that can do detoxification and drainage, and which it works. And but again, nothing we can do for now.
I trust all of us, and Dr. Quinn, it'd be nice to start a farm in Vegas, just like Israel.
We moved there. We will move to Texas.
Yeah, that would be great.
Israel.
You know what we're finding now, Joel, is that research is now showing that organic, maybe if it's 20% better than the routine stuff, you're good. The optimum way is either grow it yourself or local farmers markets. And if they do it organically. Now, I have had some experience in California in a grow area where I was told by some of the people who were in charge of upkeep on the farms there that during the daytime, they would spray organic type of materials, citrates and things like that on the crops. But when there was a chance of inspectors, then at night they would spray the harsh chemicals on stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I was told, and this is interesting, Joel, because I was told by people who came to me for toxicity problems. And of course, I asked them the questions. And they go, well, we spray, farms. I said, well, aren't those organic? In the daytime, they are. At night, we've been exposed to every chemical you can imagine.
Amen.
Well,
so
there you go.
Who are you going to trust anymore?
No.
Well, I think there are people you can trust because since the topic's been brought up about the toxicity and the heavy metals, this is the first time in American history that toxicity and heavy metals has become a political issue in the presidential debate, which is going to be decided in, I think, 5 fortnights. So Bobby Kennedy, who has now given his support to Trump, and if you have heard what Trump has said, his goal is to do exactly what Dr. Patel wants to do, what Dr. Quinn wants to do. Test and eliminate the toxicities in these people. Now, this is the first time ever it's been mentioned. This is 200 years. So anyway, that's a new issue. And another new issue that's come up are some discoveries in double bonded chelation to eliminate these things from the human body. And it's an oral process. I'm not going to say too much. It's a major, major discovery. So when we're talking about wanting to detox people on a health farm, which we've done, and yes, it's wonderful if you have it, just have the peace of mind and like minds. But there's been a discovery in chelation, and there's been an implementation of this, what we're talking about in this presidential debate. And we may get some. Bobby Kennedy, if you didn't know it, started Child's Defense. So when I was dealing with vaccines and people were coming to me as an expert, I referred to Bobby Kennedy. And we also cleaned up the Potomac River and the Chesapeake Bay here. I was the environmental expert in the region. Where did I go? Bobby Kennedy. What
No,
he
that's
has
excellent, John.
accomplished and what he has done in preventive environmental medicine and child health is extraordinary. And if he becomes allowed to speak, you can see what they've done to him. Same thing they did with Dr. Tenpenny, Dr. Tenpenny, gosh, McCulloch. McCulloch, my God, what an absolute genius hero of the world. And he tells the truth and they come after him. Same thing with Bobby Kennedy. But it would be nice if we could get some of these politically aware people of the millions of people who are dying and have them join our group, speak to our group. And I'm going to try that. See if I can get somebody from Bobby Kennedy's crew
Have any?
and those agencies. The last time we got somebody from his crew, the CDC came in on us and said, "Shut up." Remember, Bill?
Yeah, I remember it. Well, yeah,
So
wait. Shut up.
when we did start to talk about vaccines, honestly, whenever that was,
It was
man, they came in like Gestapo and shut us up and said, "We're taking over." And Dr. Burgess, you will be quiet and
yeah, that was
be quiet and shut your mouth, something like that.
2000
But anyway,
San Diego.
that's right. That's exactly right, Bill.
And,
Hey, they thought they destroyed us, and here we are.
Yeah,
So I think that also proves a point.
Rocky,
Some of us were on the edge of being destroyed, and we're still alive talking about it. And we got these young crews coming in, like we hear tonight. And I think that this group, this agency, the organization, is going to be really powerful in making some changes. And when I started looking into the research aspect of this type of stuff, and I went international for Melvin and Lisa and everybody else who's been involved internationally, that was my training. But I went into the American Osteopathic Association international aspect, what they're doing. All right. So they're claiming to take an international view now. And by the way, international view with the UN was 1 billion people with acupuncture, China, right? And 1 billion people with homeopathy and yoga or in Ayurvedic. That's Indian, right? Okay, and most of Europe does homeopathic, and Canada and all these good guys. Anyway, I went into the American Osteopathic Association international program, and they did not even have acupuncture mentioned, homeopathy mentioned, herbal mentioned, and the word integrative medicine was not even included. So these guys are still stuck 40, 50 years ago and don't even use the words that we use every week in trying to educate each other. So I was thinking, Bill, if we wanted to play the game, we're already the international crew now, and we're already osteopathic. But I feel sorry for the organization when they say they're the international stars
you
and
go
don't even know that acupuncture is being used.
go on
They're
the
not stuck. They're controlled.
yeah, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the progressive, innovative flavor of medicine. That's they trumpet that all the time.
Innovative.
Oh yeah, especially the meeting where they kicked us out. It was
Well,
it was like
anyway, I found out that we're the only ones doing anything like this.
yeah. So I have
And we could teach them a thing or two. And if we're going to be doing the research, that's absolutely what we'll be doing.
okay. Yes, and I have reached out to Osteopathy Australia. I haven't heard back from them, but I'm hoping to hear from them. Um, and this weekend we had a guest she's Greek, lives in Paris. She's a cell biologist. She's a PhD candidate. She's getting her PhD this year. And so we were able to talk shop with her, and I'm hoping to get her on. She's traveling today. And she's absolutely fascinating. 32 years old and smarter than maybe even you, John. So
Yeah, right.
that's awesome. So we're hoping to get her on also. So
I think we could easily get the top-notch Germans to work with us,
just
because that's who I was working with before, and a couple of them got Nobel Prizes, and they have a very good attitude. They're trying to help the world, and I think they can join us too, Bill. This international thing, I think, is going to turn on.
I don't know that the world wants to be helped, but we'll try to help the world. Okay, that's one of the.
I think they do, Doc. I mean, you just look at the veterans. We believe at least 300,000 of us have now died since 9/11 just due to suicide. That's just suicide. That's not cancer. That's not all the other crap, not all the other melanomas, not all the other sicknesses, not all the diabetes, not all the blood sugar stuff. That's just suicide. So we're probably looking at 500,000 plus since 9/11 that have died from cancers and suicides and sickness and this and that. And that's just veterans. Where there's only like 17 million, 16, 17 million of us left. So
Right.
you look at this just astronomity of what's going on. It's like, oh my God.
Well,
and this ain't just American veterans. You look at the kids, you look at the seniors, you look at the doctors are getting sick. I mean, we're all like, oh my God, we need to help each other.
yeah. Well, I think the priority and distribution of services. So I saw a doctor, or a veteran, combat veteran, and his total benefits were $29 a month for food. If he were an illegal alien, for what that's worth, he would be getting $10,000 just for food. So it's very intentional. It's intentional that they're letting the veterans die. I'm working with one of my patients now. His case has been going on for 57 years. And I know I put the program together, presented it, they had the information. And you guys may know of Mary Beth Williams.
Yeah,
she wrote the book, the PTSD workbook, right? She's an angel and one of the top in the world at what she does. And she sent a complete report in, and they still just screwed the veteran. And this is after 57 years ago. Brain trauma, unconscious, hospitalization, severe neurologic reaction. And that's before they knew what PTSD was, right?
Think about this, John.
And he's had the headaches for 57 years, and he is still denied benefits. So I think it's intentional. They are letting the veterans die.
Of course it is. Of course it is. We got veterans we have families that they're active duty right now, and they're on food stamps throughout America. I'm not lying. They're actually on food stamps, and they're in the military.
It's wrong.
It's that bad. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to go off on a tangent, but you guys.
No, that's part of what we do is help the vets, and I'm doing my part, and I think everybody here does, just by telling the truth. And we'll see what kind of inroads we make.
I agree.
We
Amen.
try, don't we? We do try, don't we?
We do. Yes, we do. Even the VA is starting to come to Doc now. It took us years, but they're finally starting to send vets to Doc. I kid you not.
No hurry.
It took a few years.
Okay, so Dr. Zarin will be with us next week. We'll be doing some other case studies. I also want to let everybody know that on September 27th, the BioQuantum Academy is having a workshop. It's from I didn't look exactly. I know it's from 10 to 2. Is that Eastern, or is that what 10 to 2 New York time or Toronto time?
It's Eastern. Toronto and New York is the same time.
That's 7 a.m. To 11 a.m. On the West Coast. and wherever else you are. We'll figure it out in the Philippines, and to let you folks know also. Okay, I will be talking about the history of homeopathy in the United States. So hopefully it'll be a little bit, it'll be somewhat interesting. And then of course, Dr. Zarin will be giving our, the meat of the heart of the matter. Is anybody else presenting anywhere? I know Dr. Nario, who's had to leave, is on an A4M female hormone webinar that's going from October 7th to October 20th. You can go on the A4M website if you're interested in that. It's discussing female hormones, and I think it's a 4 different lectures, 1 week at a time. I will be at AMMG October 30th to November 3rd, and I picked up some interest from Ross Pelton, who we had on, and I'll be speaking about longevity. And I did my own deep dive into rapamycin and also some herbal remedies and homeopathic remedies for longevity. So we'll be discussing that. Will be there. That's at AMMG. That's in Salt Lake City on October 30th to November 3rd. If you want to let me know if you're interested in that, it's agemed.org. They're pretty reasonable. I think they get about 20 CME credits, and it's not that expensive. And it's only 1 plane ride for me from Reno, which is almost amazing. So if anybody else is presenting anywhere or wants to present here, please let us know. And I think we're getting close to getting together. I'm working with Joseph Krieger, who is the Boston BioLife guy. And I think we're going to be getting together at least either some workshops or even a live event, hopefully early 2025. So it'll be our first one since for a while. I know OMED is coming up. John, are you attending that? So those of you who don't know, osteopathic.
I'm leaving it all in your hands. I
mean, they told me not to come because I don't know how to behave. I got a cease and desist. Come to OMED last year because I don't know how to behave. So I'll be skipping it. So I'll
go for you.
Go ahead.
I'll go meet John. Yeah. Let's have a good time.
In the 900.
We have other things. We can join them later. We can join them later.
Let's do a little microdosing. What the heck?
That day. Yeah. I think I'll skip. So, okay. So, okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions? Heather, thank you so much. It was quite fascinating. We will send you contact list of everybody that was on here. So if you want to get in touch with them, we also videoed it. And when that's ready, I'll send you a copy of the video. It'll also be on our website, as always, aosrd.org/webinars. And it's also, I have my own, I somehow ended up with a YouTube channel, Clearfield Medical Group, and I usually end up there also.
Okay.
So
thank you very much for the opportunity. I really did enjoy speaking to everybody, and I will be putting the clinical trials up. I'll email them to you, Dr. Clearfield.
Okay. And you're going to report back to us on your conference you got coming up, right?
Yes, I won't. Well, yes, as soon as I can, I'll hop on a Tuesday.
Okay, we have a Tuesday. Oh. We're here every Tuesday. We've been here for 4 years. October will be
right. And whenever I can, I will. When I'm not on a cruise ship.
So Heather is not going to be here next Tuesday, right?
I don't know. I have to look at a calendar. I'm not sure what day is it. Anyway, I'll come on if I can, and if I can, I won't. But I'll be on again Tuesdays, many Tuesdays as I can in the future, because I really do enjoy it.
Yeah. Okay. So again,
for my talk next Tuesday, said.
I would like to be. I'll try my best.
Take it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Clearfield, I just want to make a comment here for the last part about our webinar, homeopathic webinar on September 27th. It's a certification webinar and it's equal to 1 full course at the Bioquantum Academy. And normally 1 full course at the Bioquantum Academy is 10 hours and it equals to $1,000. Mm-hmm. So I just want to let you know, and whoever joins, so they're going to get a certificate of homeopathy and which it has value for continued education at the academy and or any other schools that they natural medicine schools. So,
do you have to be a licensed practitioner, or can you be a non-licensed practitioner?
No.
Since I've become a health coach and a holistic nutritionist, I'm not a quote unquote. I mean, I'm certified, but I'm not licensed.
You don't have to be licensed. So that's the whole purpose of webinars, is for all walks of life and different all backgrounds, and to get to know homeopathy in depth. So, and make you ready if one day you really want to know more about homeopathy. So webinars are the best to start. And you see and you evaluate yourself that is you really want to continue. So if you want to continue, for example, that is considered one full course. So
Gotcha.
then the program is going to be shortened.
Okay. And just to let you know, September 17th, we have Dr. Jeff Block will be back with us. He's our one of our cannabis gurus, and he's going to give us an update from the last time we saw him, which was about 2 years ago. So, and I will be away that week visiting the grandchildren. It's their birthdays, so the two oldest ones. So I'm going to leave it in the hands of Joel, and hopefully Dr. Nario will be back from the Philippines. He's been gone all summer, as far as I can tell. So okay.
It feels like.
Comments or questions, Dr. Quinn? You've been quiet tonight.
Right.
Yeah, a thought really occurs to me after hearing, Heather and some of these other people that have got these products and all of this. The word that jumps out in my head is compendium. Somewhere along the way, it would be fantastic if we had a compendium that people could reference for various treatment modalities, everything, from C15 on down to everything else. Just if we had something that we could put together, I don't know, just a thought.
Well, you have the time.
And I'm not going to put Shell Stein on the spot. And I don't think Shell is even still here, but Shell Stein and his wife, they do, I can't think of the term. They deal with words, and they deal with restructuring words, and they deal with, even helping Spanish people with stuff. No, I don't think it's not linguistics. It's something, they can help put together stuff like what you were just talking about, Dr. Quinn, straight up. And Shell has mentioned that many times. And so I'll reach out to Shell and we'll see what we can get going. And with AI now, it's all being automatically recorded. So we should be able to click onto the AI link and then send it to a certain PDF or a certain file or JPEG or whatever, and just start copying everything. And even though Dr. Clearfield has 4 years of, meetings, we could possibly take all those meetings and send them into the compendium, like you just said, and prioritize it with AI. And that would be crazy. We'd have an appendix. We'd have it would be pretty wild.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because we have such innovative people and cutting edge things, and we're non-traditionalists as far as treatment and our thoughts go. I think it's something that could really help everyone that's involved.
As long as you brought up the word prioritize, the reason we're doing the research is to establish the facts of safety, efficacy, and cost. And then from those elements, we can determine priority. So you hit it on the head, Joel. There's a reason we're doing the research. That's to establish the ethics, and that should allow for priority of treatment.
And ironically,
and then if we're going to do that, a compendium would be beautiful.
And believe it or not, I know this may sound counterproductive, and trust me, I've been there, with the VA hospital, largest hospital system in the world, to say the least. And they have a huge research budget. And they're actually, a lot of them are trying to do good. I know big pharma's deep up there, but a lot of the veterans and the employees that work there are trying to help the veterans. So most of the employees, 80-90%, are trying to do good. And so you've got, over 1,100, 1,200 hospitals throughout America that are veteran hospitals. If we can get our type of stuff into their system.
Who's going to contact them? You want to do, you want to be the one that does it? I played with the VA a long, long time, and what you're saying is important. And like I said, if you deal with the issues of integrative medicine, you don't have hardly anything going on. Like within our profession, we don't even have a department of integrative medicine. So, let's contact them. And since you guys brought up the rules and the laws in the FDA, I will contact the FDA to see what their latest and greatest is. I'll come back with a good report.
Will do. They call it whole health now. They don't call it integrative medicine. They're calling it whole health. So they're really trying to break into this. I kid you not.
Oh,
but
God.
they're fighting big pharma. I'll just be honest. It's just brutal. Brutal.
That's funny too. We started out holistic 50 years ago, and now they're going back to whole health.
I know, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I watch the names.
No comment.
Thank you, everybody, for putting up with me.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Likewise.
We'll get some shit done.
Thank you all. It was very good to hear from you and all the comments, and I really appreciate being able to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you all. And as tradition, it looks like my computer's conking out now at the end. It'll shut itself off.
Mine too.
Thank you, Heather. You're
welcome. I'll be here next week to watch Dr. Parvin Zarin because I just checked my calendar. I'm good.
Okay, thank you.
Nice.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week, Dr. Zarin.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.